Okay, this is just the last bit there, Gary, just to pick up on the video I just made. I couldn't quite get it all onto the 11 minutes. But really all I wanted to do with this last bit is just the kind of science fiction ending that we've both put on our last two videos, where we speculate where evolution is going to go, if it's going to go anywhere, because obviously neither of us really knows. What would be evolving into? I mean, it was like I say, it was pure science fiction when I said that if we do evolve into anything, it would be as different from us and as different from consciousness, not just the way our bodies look, but the way our minds and emotional makeups work. It would be as different to that as we are from inanimate objects or from paramecium or something like that. I don't know. I mean, it might be, though. I think it's quite possible. And to the extent that you were arguing with that, and obviously we are just whacking off here, but to the extent that you were arguing with that, you were saying that you didn't see any reason why we would do that, because DNA has, if I understand you correctly, you say DNA has its agenda, and once its agenda is being served by the organism that it controls, if you like, or inhabits, then there's no reason why it should do anything different, and that's absolutely true, I think. But I guess the issue I have is that it feels like we're going back to DNA again, and which obviously DNA is the mechanism, but like the what's that song? Devo used to sing it. God made man, but he used a monkey to do it. It's like the same kind of argument that you're making, but DNA made us. That's what DNA did, but we don't have to go to DNA to explain us. It's that building block thing I was trying to talk about in my previous video, I think. Because if you're going to say DNA didn't build us, actually. DNA built cells. That's what DNA originally did. And RNA built DNA, and DNA built cells. And cells built communities of cells, and communities of cells built organisms that are capable of different kinds of production and reproduction, and then these different kinds of organisms made different kinds of organisms. And so we get to us, and now we're making colonies of humans, and making weird connections between ourselves using all this weird technology stuff. So I don't know why we would go to DNA for it to explain ourselves any more than we would go to the emergence of consciousness to explain ourselves, or to the moment when pleasurable or noxious sensations emerge to explain ourselves. It just feels like to explain ourselves, we have to look to ourselves. Really, I think that's what I'm looking at. And of course, history is important, but it's a narrative. It's not just a moment. And just in terms of this evolution thing, I mean, what occurred to me when you were talking really was this thing about cells, because we are essentially a clump of cells, a big clump of cells that have specialised and become different things. So some of those cells are now brain cells, some are skin cells, some are bone cells, some are blood cells. They're all cells, though. They're all cells, and the differentiation is, in the great scheme of things, it's relatively small. And so, even though, of course, the cellular structure has evolved over the millennia, they're basically still cells. It's the organisation of the cells and what those cells can do now that's made us what we are and remarkable. And my version of a science fiction future would be not that we would evolve, become these weird gaseous beings, but we probably won't. And I don't suppose our consciousness, individual consciousness, will evolve that much more. And we are working with limited materials, but I do imagine that it would be quite possible for us for the colony of ourselves, if you like, extended through technological medium and through institutional medium and through things like currency and through things like all that kind of organised interpersonal arrangements that we make to keep ourselves in check. What you cite this actually. You said that intelligence can use desire to create missions for human beings, and that's what I'm talking about, really, about intelligence, which isn't something that one person has. We use it, but we kind of arrange it amongst ourselves, I think, and evaluate it and prompt it in one another and try to teach each other it and so on. That intelligence, yeah, sure, it creates missions for us. But it's not a conscious intelligence in any meaningful sense in the way that we think of ourselves. Because we've got a very high opinion of this consciousness. We think it's like the dog's bollocks, as they say. But it's just our trick, you know. This consciousness is just our trick. So, and it's not the next stage in communal human evolution or whatever comes next. Might not be conscious in any sense that we would recognise, or consciousness at all. But it might be more intelligent, and it might be capable of different things, and it would, in every by any objective measure, it would be perhaps more intelligent and more complex than we are. It doesn't necessarily have to be conscious, though, in anything like our understanding of it. Yeah, that's it, really. Okay, well, thanks very much.